Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a new match preview on the channel. It's another game. We're back at Molineux for more Premier League action this midweek. Premier League leaders Arsenal come to Wolves, who continue to sit at the foot of the table, continuing to search for some more points on the board to avoid becoming the worst ever Premier League team. Another stat that I saw earlier on today, Wolves I think are only 4 points behind West Bromwich Albion's all-time Premier League record as well, and Wolves have played much less games, so that would be also a nice thing to try and get ahead of before the end of the season. As always, giving my thoughts and feelings ahead of tomorrow's game. We'll get the Arsenal perspective later on in the video. Because of the fixtures coming thick and fast, I haven't had time to speak with an Arsenal fan, but we've got the guys over at AFTV who've given us their perspective as well. And I've literally just stepped in the door, coming back from a couple of days away in Oxford as well. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunately going to be at Molineux on Wednesday evening for my birthday. Hoping Wolves can, of course, cause an upset. But we're coming into this one off the back of a narrow victory in the FA Cup over League Two Grimsby Town. I think, thankfully, a lot of people have sort of taken that game for what it should be taken as. A game which is get in there, get the win and get straight back out. You know, it's been pretty viral and pretty well documented how poor the conditions were. And I don't think, as good or as bad as you are at football, that is a fantastic pitch to play football on. So I know there will be some excuses, but, you know, you look at other Premier League teams in that particular round of the FA Cup, you know, they only also had narrow victories against a League Two team or similar sort of quality team. So I actually think the win probably deserves a little bit more credit than what some people are giving it, though. In terms of team lineup for this one, it will be interesting. We've had Rob Edwards' pre-match press conference for this game. He's obviously given us a little bit of an update on players. Hwang Hee-chan still won't be available for this one. Totti Gomez is back in training now, but he thinks the Arsenal game may just come a little bit too soon for him, but he may be in the picture and in the squad for Sunday's trip to Crystal Palace. But Rob Edwards did allude to some potential changes to the starting 11. I'm really intrigued to see what this is because there's not a lot of depth on the bench. Of course, we can change that 11 that went to Grimsby because you could put Jose Sarr back in. You could change the wing-backs again. You could change shape a little bit and go potentially a little bit more attacking. Like, for argument's sake, you could bring Doc in as a centre-back, or you could go with Chachua again, maybe as right wing-back, and bring Rodrigo into the frame as well, but as more of an attacker. Adam Armstrong or Tolu through the middle, and Jean-Ric Bellegarde perhaps as another winger as well. There's different ways Rob can do it. I think we need a little bit more going forward, though. I think we need a little bit more of an outlet. I know a lot of people are talking about the well-being and condition perhaps of Matheus Mane, 18 years of age and pretty much not had a break since he broke into the team at the back end of December. Of course, the people at the club, the sports scientists, the physicians are going to know a lot more about us than about Matheus Mane's condition. For me, if he's in the condition to play, at the moment he's one of our form players, one of our better players this season, you play him. But ultimately, if he's a little bit leggy, Rob has said that. You know, he only made one change, rightly or wrongly, in that game against Grimsby Town. And that, not just the playing 90 minutes, but that condition of that pitch, the temperature, that will take its toll on some players, especially again another midweek fixture now as well, and then we're back at it again on Sunday. So I'll be very, very interested to see how he lines up. I mean, I don't even think it's worth me putting a predicted lineup on the screen because I could be completely wrong. If I had an educated guess on the players that I think will definitely play, Jose Sarr, I think he'll probably try and stick with a standard back three, although Doc could come in for someone maybe like Mosquera. But again, I'd say it'll be Santi, Krejci, Mosquera if they're all fresh and fit. Hugo Bueno back on the left. Right back, you know, you've got a toss-up of a couple of players, really. Chachua or Rodrigo. I would assume he'd probably go with Rodrigo if he's keeping the same shape. But I think the way he alluded to it, we could, you know, he didn't, rightly or wrongly, again, he didn't give too much away because obviously he doesn't want Arsenal maybe having a head up on who may or may not start. Again, midfield, maybe Angel Gomez will come back. And he did take a knock towards the end of the Chelsea game, but he's had, you know, he'll have over 10 days break. No, he played against Forest, didn't he? So, no. It'll be, a week break for him, because he didn't play at all in the Grimsby fixture. And we could just see a swap of formation going a little bit more attacking in terms of that front three. Look, we need to sit in and we need to frustrate Arsenal. We can't go into that sort of game going all out attack because ultimately Arsenal will embarrass us. So I'll be interested to see how we go about this. We frustrated them at the Emirates earlier on this season. We were quite unfortunate in that game. Obviously ended up scoring 2 own goals. Our form against Arsenal in general has been awful. You'll see in the stats going across the screen throughout most of this video, a lot of them pointing towards the form and history recently being against Wolves as well. But who knows? Let's wait and see. But we've tended to get things wrong at Molineux, and we really need something to support. And I'm hoping, with it being my birthday, obviously, but I'm hoping Wednesday night we're getting numbers there again. The fans are showing their face again. We need something to support and shout about, and perhaps make the title race a little bit more interesting for the neutrals as well. As always, though, guys, it's great to have the guys over at AFTV send something across to give their thoughts and feelings on Arsenal going into this game.
Right, my name is Laurie. I am the elder brother of Robbie, and I'm a regular on AFTV and on DL Sports as a contributor. Right, so for the most part, I've been very pleased with the form. Obviously, top of the table. In the Premier League, we topped the Champions League qualifying phase, which was very good, and we're in both cup competitions. We're in the final of the Carabao Cup, and we're also in the FA Cup through to the 5th round. So obviously things are going very well. In terms of the Premier League, obviously we're top, so I'm very pleased at that. We have let a few opportunities slip between our hands to increase our lead, but I'm not overly perturbed at that. I'm confident we'll get the job done. Starting with Wolves. Right, so notable performances. There have been a couple actually. I would classify the win against Leeds as a very notable performance. Beating them away from home 4-0, especially when you consider that was coming off the back of a disappointing loss at home to Man United, where we underperformed and was beaten at home for the first time this season. So our very next game, there was a lot of speculation as to the Leeds game, and Leeds were playing well, they're good at home. And we went there and we smoked them 4-0. So that was a very good performance. So yeah, there's that. And there's the performances in Champions League that have been especially good. Right, so we're in 4 competitions at the moment. And in terms of priority, I would rank them as the Premier League, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. Note, I'd put the Carabao Cup third. Now, we're in the final of that competition on the 22nd of March against Man City. That is a massive game for Arsenal because, in my view, if we win the Carabao Cup, which I think we will, then it sets us up nicely for the rest of the season. And the momentum you get from winning that competition takes you a long, long way. In particular, when you consider that in the final we play Man City. So it'd be lovely to get one over on them. In terms of the most informed players, I think you'd have to look at the midfield. The midfield duo of Zubimendi and Declan Rice has been instrumental to Arsenal's good performances this season. So yeah, I would start there. Actually, let me include David Raya in that, the goalkeeper. He's been pretty flawless this season. So yeah, he's been a mainstay of our defence. Obviously, you've got Saliba and Gabriel, and then as I said, Timber. And then you move on to the midfield, Zubimendi and Declan Rice. I think Noni Madueke coming into this game is in good form, scoring goals. He's looking good. Victor Gyökeres, he's improved his goal scoring rate. He's looking sharp. So yeah, those guys at the moment are in good form. So expecting them to turn up against Wolves this Wednesday. Right, so with Wolves, I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say that they're going to get relegated this season. I think what they are 9 points so far for the season. They've changed their manager. They've got Rob Edwards in, and now Rob Edwards, from his days of managing Luton, he's a decent manager, gets the teams organised. And I've noticed that their performances picked up, maybe not always in terms of results, but definitely in terms of performances, they've had a bit of a lift. In terms of the players or player that's impressed me since Rob Edwards took over, I think you'd have to look to the young guy, Matheus Mane. He looks a really good player, and I do like him. Very skillful, very attacking, dynamic, looks to take players on. He could be definitely a threat. You got the big guy up top, is it Tolu Akadadari? Let's call him Tolu. He looked like a physical threat, So, yeah, we'll have to be wary of them. So those two players stand out as far as Wolves is concerned. Right, so my prediction for the game, I do think that Arsenal win. It's a game that we have to win, let's be honest. But I do think that Wolves will be competitive. They're at home, as I said before, they're playing for pride. Rob Edwards has got them organised. So I expect them to turn up and give it a good go. But I think ultimately Arsenal are a better team, they're better players, they have a bigger squad. And at the end of the day, we need this more than Wolves do. So I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. Wolves 0, Arsenal 2.
So big thanks, as always, to the guys at AFTV for that. I'm sure you'll know who they are, but I'll make sure I leave a link to them in the description down below as well. And I appreciate you guys checking in and watching the video. As you can probably tell, I've got the flu at the moment as well. Struggling a little bit, but there we go. And let's hope that Wolves can provide us a shock tomorrow and get us something out of this game. I think everybody watching this video from a Wolves perspective will snap your arm off. We've seen some special results over the years against bigger teams, but just not so much recently. I really hope they can surprise us and grab something and hopefully get 3 points, but we'll wait and see. As always, guys, hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts going into this game, and I'll catch you on the next one.